She walked into the university hallway with nothing but a used backpack, a secondhand laptop, and a quiet determination in her eyes. Wearing a snug, pale blue top, fitted jeans that had seen better days, and shoes that barely held together, Amelia didn't look like she belonged in a place filled with designer handbags and polished shoes. She had earned her seat through brilliance, but to them, she was just the scholarship girl. They didn't care about her grades. They cared about her clothes. They cared about the way she packed leftovers in foil, not Tupperware. They cared that her phone screen was cracked, that she didn't speak the way they did. And when the whispers turned into laughs, and the laughs turned into cruelty, they found a reason to remove her. They called it a disciplinary issue. But the truth? They just couldn't stand seeing a poor girl in a world they thought only belonged to the rich. What they didn't know was that the same girl they kicked out would one day own the very university they guarded. And when she returned, nothing would ever be the same again. Amelia wasn't like the others. While her classmates pulled up in luxury cars and sipped iced lattes from the campus cafe, she arrived on foot, rain or shine, with her laptop wrapped in a faded scarf top. Protected from the weather, she always sat near the window, not because she liked the view, but because it was easier to stay unnoticed there. Her clothes were always clean but simple, tight-fitted pastel tops, jeans without labels, and shoes her father had repaired more than once. She barely spoke at class, but when she did, her answers were razor sharp. Her ideas were fresh, thoughtful, brilliant. Yet instead of admiration, she received silence. Sometimes worse, smirks, giggles, and side eyes. To the rest of the class, Amelia was a charity case. The girl with no style. The girl who didn't fit the aesthetic of an elite university. They didn't care that she had the highest entrance exam score in her department. They cared that she didn't own a single designer bag. No one invited her to group projects. When she raised her hand, professors looked surprised, and in the cafeteria, she often ate alone, unpacking homemade food in foil while others scrolled through their new phones and whispered behind her back. It hurt, but she never showed it. She had worked her entire life to be here. Late nights under a dim lamp, books from donation shelves, a father who gave up his own dreams so she could chase hers. But none of that mattered to them, because to them, Amelia wasn't a classmate. She was a mistake in the admissions process, a stain on their curated, picture-perfect world, and soon they would make sure she was erased. It happened on a rainy Thursday morning. Amelia walked into her advanced economics class with her usual quiet focus. Her top was fitted, soft beige today, paired with her worn but neatly pressed jeans. She took her seat near the window, unzipped her frayed backpack, and pulled out her notes, organized, color-coded, meticulous. Today's lecture was about multi-sector capital flows, one of the most complex topics of the semester. Professor Langston posed a challenge. This scenario here, I want one of you to propose a way this failing policy could stabilize with only a 5% market correction. Anyone? Silence. Amelia hesitated, then raised her hand. If the central bank adjusted bond yields alongside a dual-track subsidy targeting low-income sectors, the correction could be absorbed without spooking them. Market. Langston blinked. That's actually a sound proposal. From the second row, Vanessa rolled her eyes. She probably Googled that before class, she muttered. Amelia ignored it. But later that day, Vanessa's comment grew louder. It's kind of weird how someone who can't even afford real shoes always has the right answers. Like suspicious, right? The next morning, Amelia received an email from the Academic Integrity Committee. She was being investigated for unoriginal submissions. Within a week, she was called into the dean's office. We've decided to suspend you temporarily while we conduct a full investigation. But I haven't done anything wrong, she whispered. You'll need to leave campus by the end of the day. Everything she had worked for dismissed. Not because they had proof, but because they had power. Amelia stepped out of the dean's office, gripping the suspension notice. She clutched her backpack, her head held high, but her eyes betrayed her. She walked the hallway, once a place of dreams, now a corridor of shame. From one corner, students whispered, "That's her, the girl who cheated." Vanessa leaned against the wall, smiling. "Maybe. Next time, don't steal answers from people who actually belong here." Amelia didn't flinch. "I didn't steal anything." "You're right. You didn't steal. You just never belonged." She left quietly, through the cafeteria, past the scholarship wall, through the front gate. No one stopped her. And yet, as she stepped outside and turned back to look at the building, she felt something rise inside her. Not defeat, fire. She returned to her father's apartment. Her father, Ben, read the letter. "You didn't do what they're accusing you of, did you?" She shook her head. Then, "It doesn't matter what they think," he said. "You still have your mind." That night, Amelia sat on her mattress, laptop open, books beside her. She typed how to start an online learning platform. During the day, she helped at the garage. At night, she studied. One afternoon, a silver-haired man noticed her reading. "You, interested in education policy?" I'm building something," she said. "An online platform for students who can't afford private universities." He used to teach at Westbridge, the same university that expelled her. They talked for an hour, he offered. Mentorship and everything changed because now Amelia wasn't rebuilding. She was building something bigger. The first version of Brightbridge was simple, but brilliant. Free learning, content, real-world case studies, personalized feedback. In 1 month, 700 users. 3 months, 15,000. 1 year, global reach. Amelia juggled the garage and her growing startup. Investors noticed. Venture capital came. Next, when she presented her pitch, wearing a snug blouse and fitted jeans, she didn't speak like a CEO. She spoke like someone who had lived a problem. "I built what I needed when no one opened the door, and people listened." Brightbridge grew, offering certifications, live classes, mentorships. At her keynote talk, she stood tall. Education should be a bridge, not a privilege. And somewhere across town, her old university was falling apart. Scandal, low enrollment, financial pressure. They needed help, and they didn't know the help was coming from her. 3 years later, Amelia returned, not as a student, as a buyer. She stepped into the boardroom in a fitted gray blazer and rose blouse. Vanessa was there in admin, now quiet, fidgeting. "Miss Bennett," the board chair said, "why this school?" "Because this school taught me how it feels to be shut out, and I'm here to change that for everyone." Her offer? New scholarships, inclusive admissions, mental health services. This wasn't revenge. It was reform. And this time, Amelia didn't knock on the door. She owned it. Amelia addressed the room. "Some of you may remember me. Most probably don't. That's okay. I was told I didn't belong here. But I never stopped learning. Never stopped building. I didn't come back to settle a score. I came back to change the rules." She held up her old student ID. I wasn't the wrong kind of student. You were the wrong kind of school. Silence. Vanessa looked up, but Amelia didn't need her to speak. She had already spoken loud enough for all of them. Amelia renamed the scholarship program the Bridge Fund, eliminated club dues, revamped grading, policies, opened mental health centers and tutoring hubs. Culture changed. Students thrived. One girl in an oversized hoodie thanked her in the hallway. I'm here because of you. Vanessa requested a transfer to student services. I want to help now. The university gained headlines for equity, not elitism. And Amelia? She stood by the front gate one afternoon, the same place they once sent her out. But now, she didn't walk away. In shame, she stood in peace, watching what she had rebuilt. She walked the halls. Again, no whispers, no judgment, just respect. Outside room 204, class was discussing Brightbridge. She paused, watched, listened. A girl in the back tight tee, frayed jeans looked just like her years ago. Their eyes met. You belong here, Amelia whispered. The library now bore her name, the Amelia Bennett Learning Commons. She didn't need applause. She had her legacy. At the gate, the same security guard nodded. Welcome back, Mrs. Bennett. It's good to be home. She was judged for her clothes, mocked for her silence, kicked out for being poor. But real strength doesn't wear labels. It builds futures. Amelia didn't scream for attention. She didn't chase validation. She became undeniable. And when she returned, she didn't look back in anger. She looked forward in purpose. Because dignity isn't something you're given. It's something you carry even when no one sees it. If someone ever made you feel small for what you wore, what you earned, or where you came from, remember this: you don't have to be accepted to be worthy. You don't have to fit in to belong, and you don't need their approval to succeed. Amelia was once just a name on a forgotten list. Now, she's the reason thousands can finally believe in themselves. And you could be next.